Hey guys, this is Ashley Leftwich, and here is my Elevating a Culture of and Reflection. So first, one of the biggest quotes that stood out to me right off the bat was when Weston said, "It is dangerous when, in the name of innovation, the skills of our past have no place in our future." As a fifth grade teacher, I see this every day. I cannot tell you how many kids come to me and can't read cursive or are lacking. Um, Basic things such as lining up place value when it comes to adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. That is huge, and we need those. And even though we have calculators and all this technology, cursive and place value and things like that are still core pieces that we need. And they're huge gaps, and we tend to just push them to the side in the name of innovation because, well, there's going to be a tool that helps them with that later in life. They will need that. Well, no, I disagree with that. They are going to need that. And Weston's example of this is the Constitution. How can we send students out into society when they can't read the very document that was going to protect those rights? If they can't interpret that and they're going to rely on someone else to interpret that for them, we're leaving them in a dangerous situation. And that can be um, very scary as both a teacher and a parent. I don't want to leave my own children as well as my classroom kids in that kind of scenario. I want to make sure they're successful in life. So one of the questions that it also states is um, when Weston talks about learning is king, growth is queen, and cool is the court gesture. The gesture is technology, and the gesture has value, but don't put him in charge of the kingdom. Um, I, you know, I have been that exciting person when it comes to technology. I love technology; it's my niche. So then, often when I find something that I like, I'm like, "Oh man, I got to use this." And especially early on in my career, I'd say like the first 2 years of my career, especially with COVID and being learn at home and having a little more flexibility and freedom to use technology because we had to. Um, I was definitely a how can I use this? I can't wait. And I've had to, especially going to a tested content area, be like, ooh, I need to take a step back. What is the learning outcome my students need? Are there any tools that can help me with this learning outcome? And if there are tools, is it effective? And so one of my phrases that I started off as like a word of the year phrase or a word, and then really it's just stuck with me throughout my career because it's been that important to me, and it's something that I have to like really ground myself in is intentional. Am I being intentional with this? Is it just a fad, or is it something that really could benefit my kids? If I haven't told you this story yet, in the 2022-2023 school year, I had 70 students, and I only taught fifth grade math. And of those 70 students, I had um, an alarmingly large number of students who did not pass the state of Texas STAR test for fourth grade math. And I say alarmingly, I mean, out of 3 sections of math I had 2 entire classes where not a single student even hit the approaches mark. And that is scary. That is very scary to know. And as I reflect and I look back at data, um, throughout the school years, I looked back at data, I really had to stop and think, wow, what is beneficial for these kids? What is going to get us the most bang for our buck? One, and two, what is going to close the learning gaps? So at this point, it's not even about are we um it's not even about, well, are we hitting the standards? It's these kids have so many gaps. What can I do to help them? What is best practice? What is something that is going to really be beneficial for them? And I often go off on this tangent because, I think it's so profound, but I really had to step up the intentionality piece of this. It was not okay, I can do it this way or I can do it that way. It was an and piece. I had to one revert back to just some old school best practices that are tried and true and work for fifth grade math. And then I also had to tie in technology because let's face it, when you've got only 90 minutes to hit with kids and get them on grade level on top of fill all the gaps they had, I had to be intentional. I didn't have time for them to go get out a journal, write this down, go do this, this, and this. There's no time for that. It was, I need to know quickly and effectively. What do you know? And what am I doing tomorrow in a small group to help you? And I really had to embrace this culture of and I just didn't know that that's what I was doing. Um, One of the other things that was profound to me um, is the statement that he made about education not being broken. Wow. I never thought of it that way. I definitely thought previously that yes, there are pieces of education that was broken, and that was where we are today. And that's why we have the gaps that we do. That's why, um, especially in my area, I see the socioeconomic disadvantages that I do. Um, and I disagree now with it being broken. You know, we have done this shift of, well, old school or this, just as for reading, we've gone um, from phonics to environmental print and are they reading this way or are they reading that way? And same with math, I'm sure. I just haven't been in it long enough to really see the trends just yet. But one of the pieces that stuck out to me the most was that graduation rate from 1910 compared to 2017. And I'd be interested to see the data now in 2023. Um, was at an all-time high, 85% graduation rate in 2017. I mean, man, that's intense. What opportunities have we closed there, and what are we continuing to close as we push for new norms with socioeconomics, with race and ethnicity getting the same advantages? We've overcome immense hurdles there. Not that we're done. We're definitely not done. But I resonated with this. I resonated a lot more than I thought I would, and so this was an interesting TED talk. I wish I would have seen it sooner, and I'm excited to take a step back from the culture of or and try not to be the Denzel Washington fan obsessed, exciting person, and make those intentional choices with our students. Thank you.